Move.
Hi guys, so it's your big gay trucker, Bobby Coffee Loy, founder of LGBTQ plus Truck Driver Network, and we have Jasmine St. James
Hi.
and Tweedledee and Tweedledum with Ashley and Jess. And today we have a special guest on the show. Ree had come to us just I don't know. It was just like at the time that we were supposed to meet, and she just became a part of the family and traveled with us and went along a journey that was supposed to be kind of something about the organization, and it still ended up being about the organization, but it ended up being about the road home for mom, and where we found out that mom had a brain tumor, and it was just instantly at the same time that we had met her. So when we started filming, it kind of changed, and it just became really personal, really personal. And I wouldn't change it for the world. She has been just an amazing addition to our trucker family, and we will always support her in everything she's doing. But I wanted to bring her on the podcast to get to know her a little bit and how she got into journalism and what her interests were. So we're gonna have Ree come in. So hi, Ree.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, girl.
And we all love her, and she knows this. She's a big old part of the dysfunctional family. But tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and
Yeah, so my name is Rhiannon, but Bobby calls me Ree, and I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and I go to school at Western Kentucky University here in Bowling Green. I'm a double major, so I'm a photojournalism and advertising major, but photojournalism is definitely my number one. And I do a lot of video and photography work. I technically work for the magazine on campus and stuff, but the project I did for Bobby was for my advanced short form documentary class last semester. So it was my advanced course. So it was my first time experiencing a course that was a little bit more intense, but I loved it. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
she finally has got her grades back on it. So her grades came back really good on her documentary that she did.
For sure.
So we're all excited about that.
You should have been scored higher, I say.
No matter what, there's not. I don't think there's a score or grade high enough to put on it. It's an amazing piece, and it was an amazing journey for you. So how did you feel during that time? I know you just initially met us, and then everything kind of changed. So from the journalism side, what was it for you? How was it for you to go through and the journey of mom passing, and because you kind of followed us with everything?
Yeah.
So how was it for you on your side?
Well, I feel like one thing I'm learning in my whole college career is how to kind of be a shadow, or one of my professors or one of the people in the field I know kind of tells me to be like a doorknob on a handle, like a doorknob, like you kind of in the background. So for me, it was when I got the news about your mom, it was I'm here, and I was doing originally the story, like you said, about the organization, but I felt like I needed to be there just in the back documenting it just for you, not only for me, but like for you to have, because I mean, I have a camera, so why not just be there and document those moments for you? So yeah,
well,
that was my mindset.
Mom supported you 100%, through the whole thing. I know that you got to have your own little relationship with mom, and she just was mom. She didn't change, So like through all of that, what did you have any obstacles that you felt that you had to overcome besides Jess? Was there any?
I'm happy to spoke to the girl.
But was there any obstacles or anything that you personally had to do to get through everything?
Well, I think initially when I got the call about your mom having a brain tumor, it was me. The first step for me was kind of, okay, I can't show any emotion around. Like I kind of felt like I couldn't show that much emotion around you because you were feeling it all in those moments. So it's like, I, of course, developed a relationship with your mom, but it was like I processed that when I wasn't filming you, when I wasn't shooting you. You know what I mean? I had to kind of set that boundary in order to produce, I think, something for you that was real, because at the end of the day, like, my emotions are there, but you kind of have to put that aside sometimes in order to,
It's like compartmentalizing.
yeah, exactly.
You know, and when you do, and even I had to do that when going through everything. You know, I dealt with a lot more of it after versus before, because you know, beforehand I literally was just trying to do everything properly, and like, you know, and it's hard to do. So I kind of wondered, you know, how you had dealt with things, because I know that even on your side, you know, and you had traveled with us, you had went clear up to the funeral, you had went and done so many different things and got to see all of her family and friends, and mom wanted you there. You know, mom told you that you could film through everything. So, and that's a big thing in our family, because usually our family, we don't show any pictures at funerals or anything like that. It was just like but for mom to say it was okay was a big thing, you know. But you know, but like in mom's own words, she said that the world needs to see what a truck driver does and what they have to go through. And so that was the important thing, was that you would see that.
When I was here with mom, she was telling the hospice nurses and everything, there's a documentary being made about me.
She did, and it was cute. It was fun, and but she really, I just think that everything happens for a reason, and I really do. I'm just one of those people that believes that. And during that time, everything happened and just fell into place the way it was supposed to be. So, for you, and where did it all come from? Where did it all start for you in journalism, and when did you think that you know, found an interest in it, and where did it all start for you?
Yeah. So, I feel like I might have mentioned this before, but I'm very close with my sister. I have two younger siblings, and I'm the oldest. So I kind of have that older sibling responsibility to like watch over them, take care of them. And my sister does have type 1 diabetes, and the first kind of short doc I ever produced was actually about her, and it was a fictional, it was more of like a film rather than a documentary, but it was a representation of like her life dealing with her early diagnosis of type 1. So she was injecting herself every day with insulin, and she was treating for high blood sugar, low blood sugar. And I know a lot of people think of diabetes as, you know, something that's just, there's a lot of stereotypes surrounding it. And I feel like for my teenage sister, or she wasn't even a teenager at that point, she was, I don't even remember, she was in middle school. Like, it was a lot to handle, pricking yourself every day, treating yourself for high blood sugar, low blood sugar. Like, it was a lot. And I don't know, I just feel like I saw that firsthand, just how something can change in your family. And I just wanted to document it because I didn't know what else to do. And it was just shot on my iPhone. But I mean, she liked it. And then we did like some photos afterwards, some portrait photography of her. And it kind of made her feel a little bit better about herself too. So I think that was kind of my first initial step into, oh, there's an issue, or there's someone overcoming something, and I can document it. So, and make them feel a little bit better about themselves. I mean, she appreciated it, and I think that was the beginning for sure. And I haven't really stopped since then. Yeah. And the PJ program, which is what I call the photojournalism program at Western, has really helped me reach out of my comfort zones and just interact with people who I probably would have never ever interacted with before, never seen a different side of them before. So yeah.
Well, even for me, you know, so I will tell you that diabetes and is a huge thing that truckers have to deal with a lot of the time. And there's a lot of people, there is that stigma. People think it's because you're fat, or because it doesn't help when you are heavier. But some people can be completely 80 pounds and still, you know, so it affects everybody. But I do kind of think that, you know, if you still have that video, I'd love to see it myself. So, and we're going to share as much of the things as we can with the page, and share your work and everything. So, and I know that's not the end of our journey, because we've talked about taking you with us at different events and truck shows, so you're able to see inside of other things too. But we're definitely going to share some of your stuff on the web page, and as we go along. and then I'm actually going to make you a journalist on the page so that you can just put stuff up on your own of anything you see or find that you want to put up there.
I'm going to give you my position in the organization. Sure.
Of course he is.
That way I can sit back and do nothing.
But where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, where do you want to be? What is long-term goal? What's 5-year goal, and then what's long-term goal?
So I have been debating this question a lot as of late because I am a junior in college. It's interesting because photojournalism as a field right now is kind of, some people consider it a dying field, because when you think of photojournalism, at least for me, I automatically think of newspapers and shooting photography for newspaper outlets. But I've kind of adapted and gone down more this video short doc path. However, I think I'm someone who likes a little bit of stability, which is interesting because I picked this field. So I am trying to hold on to this. Oh, I love being a storyteller. I love doing visual journalism. But how am I going to make money in the long run and have a stable life, one that I like? So as of right now, I think my long-term goal is to just kind of find a nice job in doing some sort of agency work with a company who still really appreciates storytelling. I'm trying to get a few internships for the summer with a few agencies like this in Louisville, but I don't really know. I just like documenting people, and I like documenting experiences that people are experiencing. So, I mean, wherever that takes me, whether it's a magazine or agency work, like a company in Louisville that I'm looking at is called Curtis Creative Storytelling. Very documentary based, but also they have clients. So anywhere like that, I would love to be a part of. Maybe even a newspaper, who knows? It's just I just want to be able to document something somewhere, someone's story.
So with you thinking things, I understand where you could think it would be a dying breed, but when I think of things like that, I think that what people need to do is adapt to today's social media.
Yeah.
And by doing that, by doing mini clip stories on TikTok and Instagram, Twitter, like taking to social media, I feel that's something that you could do just to try to bring more media to your attention to yourself and I know that's not exactly you, is about having attention to yourself, but it's attention to your work is what you're trying to do. And by doing that, I think that by adapting like with a TikTok account and Instagram, Twitter, like that type of stuff, that I think that you would be able to find the following of people that would support you, especially in your work. You know, I just being a part of it and seeing your passion for it is what's important. You know, some people go in and think of things as a job, and they may want to be on a news station one day as a newscaster. I can even see you doing that. I just, you know, but I know that your passion is behind the camera.
Yeah.
And so, and telling stories, and I think but which you have to have a good eye for it as well, which you do. I feel you do. And you know, so I'm very blessed to have you in my life and be a part of everything and the organization. And you know, so we appreciate everything that you're doing. So as a child, what did you want to be as a child?
So as a child, I definitely wanted to be a veterinarian.
That's cool. I can see that with the dogs.
Or an artist. What'd you say?
I can see that because of our dogs. You
Yes.
you really.
Well, actually, my first ever job was at a vet clinic. Fun fact.
That's
I was in the boarding area, but I wanted to be a vet, or I wanted to be an artist. I like painting and stuff too on the side, doing oil pastels. So I've always been a little creative, but you know, it wasn't until middle school when I actually got a physical camera in my hand and I started playing around with it, and I took a few high school classes in this media field path that they had. And then I did a program summer 2020 during COVID. It was entirely on Zoom, but it was called Governor's School for the Arts. So it was a program, and it was purely just film and photography for 3 weeks over Zoom with like professionals. So, and I created another short doc for the first time and produced a photo story. So that's when it probably finally clicked, and I was like, okay, I want to go into college for this. So that's
what
kind
does
of
your family say about it?
so they're very supportive of whatever I do, and I love them a lot for it. I think for a while they didn't fully understand the definition of photojournalism and what it truly meant, but it wasn't even until like last year I sat down and I had like a list of short docs I showed them that were all like 3 minutes long that I wanted. It was short docs I loved and they inspired me, and they're like, oh, I get it, you just like to document the human experience. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And whenever I tell people, I'm like, oh, just look up like the New Yorker, or like the short 60-second docs on Instagram. Like that's kind of where I want to be at. So yeah.
So the road home to mom was your largest at this point?
Yes, it was the longest video I've produced, and it was actually my first multimedia web page as well. So I got to play around with a little bit of coding, which was insane. I've never done that before.
So basically, she has launched her webpage, which has a lot of her other media on there, but then you can go to it and select the road home.
It's under the stories tab.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how you set it up and what the page shows.
Yeah, so I wanted it to be considered multimedia / interactive. So it's kind of like you're taking a journey through, what you experienced, and what I experienced along the way. So you kind of start off with the log line at the beginning, and then you have the video. So the intent is you watch the video first, and then you come back to the webpage, and you kind of get this, you get a more in-depth storytelling of the actual events that came about. I have a miles counter as you scroll through the story. So it's kind of parallel to, okay, as the story went on, the miles went up, and it's compared to how many miles you drive a week. At least that was my thought process. And then I think for a lot of people, for me, I came into this completely blind. I didn't know anything about truck driving. So, and I think even my professor suggested that, oh, why don't we take a 360 camera into your truck just to see how small of a space it is that you guys live in. So we included that in the piece as well, and it's interactive, so you can click around and see what's inside the truck to get just, I think I said on the webpage, it's your second home. So just to see what that is for you. And then I also have a map. I think it's a rough estimate of all the places you stopped at all the way, because I was tracking your Life 360, but I was stalking you. But
I can teach you more if you like.
He's good at that.
Yeah, but it's just a rough estimate of one of your hauls that you did. So again, it was just kind of to take a step back for a first-time viewer to see the route you usually take.
Travel, how fast it happens. And I think it's really cool because when you do scroll down, the page just keeps going the miles, and then it shows you like basically the progress. So I think it's a really neat, in-depth, inside view of a trucker's life. And I really like that. I think it's awesome. And I'm going to try to share. So like we have a couple other people, but I've got some people I'm going to share stuff with, and like Road Pro magazine and a couple other magazines. And maybe even we'll see if we can get you an interview with them, because I think it'd be kind of cool to spotlight some of that stuff, and you be interviewed also, just to get your name out a little bit bigger in the trucking industry. You never know, it might branch into something trucking for you. So, but it gives you experience. So who is the most memorable person besides mom that you've like adapted to in the trucking and like the whole storyline of everything?
So out of all the people I met through this story,
yeah.
Well, besides you, Mom, and Ricky, I don't know.
Well, you've met so many, and you got to have, so I kind of wondered if anybody stands out.
I'm not sure. I would say you guys all as a group have just really stood out to me. But it's interesting though, because I feel like I fit in really well with you guys for some reason, which is kind of like, I feel like from an outside perspective, you're like, oh, maybe not, but I don't know. You guys, I feel like we all gel really well together. So, and you guys are all fun. I think Jess is especially funny.
Yeah, he is. He's Jess.
Everybody thinks Jess is funny.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny looking, funny look at, whatever.
So, did you say earlier, or the road home, you
Mhm.
said that your professor has nominated it for something?
Yeah, so there is this competition called the Hearst Journalism Awards, and it's one of the more competitive journalism competitions within like the collegiate area. And so every year, students from PJ enter it, but students from across the United States can enter it as well. And there's different categories. And my professor selected the story I did about you all on the road home to be submitted. I don't know if I've won anything yet. I don't know if I will, but to be submitted for the multimedia or innovative storytelling category. So I will be judged based on the webpage that I created and the video. So maybe I will win something, but I think that's really good for me to hear because that means that my professors thought it was like a great story, and that means that those judges who are looking at it are seeing it. So I feel like that's a step in the right direction.
Well, it's kind of you already are winning because there's only 2 people selected, and how many's in your class?
There's around 60 in our class, so in total for the program. It's a small program.
So they only select
But-
2 people out of the 60 to.
yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah.
So is there like any way that any of us can write into this or competition to say, this is
Yeah.
why we think this one should win, kind of thing, or?
Unfortunately, I don't think we can because it's solely based on the judges are solely the ones who judge the pieces, and it's because they are the professional journalisms. And
Maybe you should add, just so the judges and people see it, is there a way to add a comment section to the page at the bottom?
Ooh, possibly. I might look into that.
And then all the drivers and us could write in about the experience we had.
Or
Yeah.
let us know where the actual place is. We have semi-trailers. We
No,
can
seriously,
steal
like-
everybody else's stuff.
Like the
and yours
comment
is
section.
just
I mean,
left
that
there.
would be kind of a cool idea if we
Yeah.
had a comment section. I don't know if that's something
Yeah.
you can add, but
Yeah.
We're good at commenting.
yeah.
Well,
good at
I could definitely look into it. The one thing I will say about the competition itself is they hold journalistic standards to a high level. So it's kind of the intent is that they judge it based solely off of how well done the story is and how important the story is. So, and that they should be able to tell that all from just the story itself. But I think that would be interesting to look into because even without the competition, I feel like that would be a good piece to add to show how many different people have seen it and appreciated it. So maybe I will look into that for sure.
I wasn't
So-
thinking about it until we were just talking about it, but
Yeah.
So
for
have you
sure.
ever thought about doing like photojournalism abroad, overseas, stuff like that?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
she's
I've
like-
actually, that's
she's a
funny you
nomad.
bring that
She wants
up.
she wants to travel everywhere.
I do. Well, I have big plans, and I think they actually might work out pretty soon. But next fall of my senior year, I'm attempting to study abroad in Denmark
Wow.
at the Danish School of Media and Journalism. I've applied. I've been nominated through WKU, but I just need to actually apply for the program itself through the Danish School of Media and Journalism, and I also need to save up some money, or get a scholarship for 2. But if
That's cool.
all works out, I might be abroad in the fall. So we will see. That's my
Anyway,
first
then
time out
me
of
and
the
Ricky
country.
should go on a vacation. We'll go visit.
Go
You
visit.
could- yes. That'd be amazing.
A good reason for us to visit.
Now, did you think this early in your schooling or your, I'm going to say, career, that you would be nominated for an award this soon?
Honestly, I will say this. Freshman year, me in the program was not as strong as I am now. Like, I think I've made immense growth in how I document people and the final product and what I do produce and just how I perceive others and their stories. I think freshman year me was like, I know previous alumni in the program have won these awards before, and I was like, wow, they're like so far out of reach. Like there's no way I'll ever be nominated for like a Hearst Award or anything like that. But I think I've made a lot of growth, and I'm proud of where I'm at right now. And yeah, but I do think freshman year me would have been like, no, there's no way. There's no way.
But I also think that has a lot to do with when you meet you, when everyone meets you, you're very humble and you're just Reed, and I think that has a lot to do with everything. Like the fact that you are just yourself, and you don't. A lot of people in journalism, when you meet, I've met a lot of people and done interviews, and for large magazines and publications, Mashable magazine, YouTube, and all, like, I've done a lot of different stuff. But when you meet them, they're not very friendly, and they seem very formal. And I feel like I hope you never lose that, because you get to know people for who they are, and I think that's very important when telling someone's story. It's not a formal all the time story. But for you actually know people, and you write from your heart, or shoot from your heart, or write from you, whatever, you know what I mean. But like when you're doing the story, you're doing it from the heart, and I think that's very important. I don't care if you're interviewing the woman on the corner that watched the house burn down across the street. I still feel that you should do it with your heart involved, and it shows different when it comes across the screen, I feel, rather than someone just doing a short clip and then it's done and over with. And some people just do things to produce more videos, and it's quantity versus quality, and I would rather have quality, I feel. So that will always be my say on things, is just don't lose the whole quality of what you're producing, and don't lose the journey and the fact of trying to make more and more videos to make yourself better.
Now, before you started the documentary, The Road Home, did you have any idea how truck drivers or trucking was?
Nope. We already asked this question.
Well, I'm getting to the second part of that question. Did you think that the truck drivers would be as blunt and open-mouthed as this organization is?
Well, you're like 3 months late, aren't you?
Was there ever
Definitely not.
Well, was there ever a moment in the beginning that you were kind of like
regretting it?
Well, I mean, like, just scared of meeting us? Was there a moment that you ever were like, what am I getting myself into? Or
it's funny you asked that, because I don't think I've ever been scared of you, or scared of honestly anyone I've been documenting, because I think I've kind of crossed that hump already of being like scared, unless I'm actually in a scary situation. But I was honestly just more like, the minute I walked into your house and I saw all the Marilyn Monroe stuff, I was like, this is it. I was like, this is it. I was like, this is gold. I found it.
Yes. I've told everybody that Bobby's house is my Graceland. Everybody else can have Elvis. I'm a Maryland fanatic like Bobby.
Yeah.
This is my Graceland.
But I guess from the outside looking in, though, you wouldn't think a truck driver
bougie
would be a Maryland fan and collecting all those. I don't know. I am different than other truck drivers.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
And there is I don't know what you would call it. There is like a stigma or whatever that is on truckers, and there's a certain way that truckers are viewed, which is why the organization exists, because whether they're gay, straight, bi, it doesn't matter. I just wanted people to be able to see who people are behind the wheel. And so that's always important. And
obviously, because I started off trucking at 125 pounds.
And his right thigh. And
his big toe.
But I just think that some people would be surprised about my life and the things that we do and where we go and all that type of stuff. But we're just like everybody else. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what profession you're in or whatever. Everybody's pretty much the same. We're all trying to take care of our families, and we're all doing, everyone has their own little niche things that they like to do, and I just like to spend money and and collect things.
Bougie.
But besides that, I mean, I think I could be an eye opener when coming into meeting everyone. It could be a little intimidating.
I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I first walked into your house, I was just like, "This is not a truck driver."
Well, I will say that I did a lot of research.
What was it?
I will say I did like a lot of research, as in Facebook stalking you guys before I came over.
That's okay.
I
Yeah,
try to do
teach
that
you
before I
more.
meet people. What'd you say?
No, and that's fine. That's fine. I understand it, and especially for you. You're I wouldn't even say a young woman only, because I just seen where a young man had met somebody. Remember, and but like, people today, it's in today's world. I would be scared. Actually, I'd be scared more to be in journalism than what I would be in trucking.
Yeah.
To meeting strangers the way that you meet. I'm not.
No, you're fine.
But like, it would be more scary, because truckers can hide in their truck and lock the door and
seat belted around the steering wheel.
But like, and literally, when you really get into the truckers and meeting truckers, most of them don't like people, stay to themselves. That's why they're in the profession they're in. So a lot of people do not socialize, and because they don't feel that they get along with everybody else. And of course, that's why we have the organization. But it's just one of those things. But I could see where journalism could be really scary. I'm just saying, like it.
Yes, and a lot of my peers and a lot of people from the program that I'm in right now who have graduated and gone into this full time, they definitely have experienced situations like that. Because I mean, imagine if you're a journalist and you're documenting someone and there's something relating to abuse and you have to be there for, and you need to be there for those moments. But in the end, like, you're also being put in danger. Or even like traditional war photographers, like, they're always out there taking photos, like the wars that are going on right now. So it's definitely interesting. But for me, I just try to keep myself safe by Instagram stalking people on Facebook, and I feel like in the end I can usually figure out the vibe of someone, and I know whether or not I should pursue it.
It's a good instinct.
Yeah, for sure.
But did they teach you anything about that? Did they teach you anything about?
They do teach us a little bit about morals and ethics relating to journalism and stuff, but honestly, I don't think we've ever, I think the only advice I've ever received from the program is just like, if you know something in your gut is telling you not to be there, you should leave. But it's a hard line, because it's like, there's some moments you're like, if I document this right now, like, this will be it'll be very powerful and I need it. But am I going to be put in danger? Luckily, I haven't been there yet, and I hopefully will.
I mean, I could think about, there was the one that I had seen here recently that a person had done in Chicago, and the woman had followed an addict and was in a crack house, basically, or whatever you want to call it, and the person was shooting up, and she documented the whole thing. She stayed and filmed the whole thing. The person was getting their fix, and she had so in that situation, I could see where that could be completely scary. I would not feel safe, but I could see where it's important and powerful, but I also could see it being very scary. But I had watched that, but then there was a guy that I had I sent it to you this morning.
I think so.
The guy that they just did a thing on. So there was a guy that met somebody on an online dating app, and there's a whole documentary thing that's being filmed about him, and basically
he was on Dr. Phil.
Yeah, he was on Dr. Phil, and he met a guy on an online dating app, and he went to the person's house, and the guy asked if he wanted to get Yeah, if you want to get naked and you wanted to
Mhm.
cuff him up, is what it was,
Mhm.
handcuffs, and it very quickly escalated from that to
Mutilation.
yeah, he tried to cut his hands off and he like tried to strangle him
He wanted
and
to eat his body parts.
yeah,
He
it was
did.
bad.
He's
So
part of his
I
life.
could see it very much. Yeah, it went really, really fast, really bad, and it busted all the blood vessels from his neck, and like he had strangled him so much that like his whole face and everything turned like reddish purple. But anyway, I thought about that this morning going into
Mhm.
how people, you meet someone, it's a
This
stranger.
podcast just
and
went from one angle to another.
No, you interest. We talk about everything. That's a fact. But we talk about everything. And in today's
Yeah.
society, there's a lot of people out there that think that
Are crazy.
that like, they see the movie Saw and they want to react it out. Like,
Hey, some part Saw is cool. I will say.
So I could see where it could be scary. I'm just
And then
saying.
a lot of people think out there.
And I'm not trying to scare you. Don't get scared.
Oh, you're okay.
A lot of people out there are trying to be Billy Bob or whatever his name was, and it puts the lotion on the skin again.
Oh Lord, these two.
That's
These
nice.
So
I have a question for you.
okay.
After going through and meeting everyone and doing the entire documentary, which I'm sure it's not the entire documentary because I know you guys already, there will be more to come within this.
Tampa Pride.
And out of everything that you've dealt with, first part is, what was your favorite part of doing the documentary? Like, what exact part was your favorite? And then also, what has been the most rewarding thing for you personally of being around us and like doing this actual documentary?
Mhm. That's a good question. So I think my favorite, I would say my favorite scene in the whole doc and my favorite day with you all was definitely removing the stickers off the truck. First of all, the weather was beautiful and I got some really pretty shots of the sun and the stickers. And you guys also were having so much fun and it was just I thought it was a really good day. And I think even Bobby said that was one of the last good days for Mom. So
Yeah.
and like looking back, I think it was a really good day because you guys were just all there. And I don't know. And that was at the point where I feel like I was really starting to get to know everyone. And so I felt super comfortable and it was just that was my favorite day for sure. And I'd say probably the most rewarding thing of this whole process is just being able to still talk to you guys and just have a new friendship with you guys.
Right.
And also, it's been really rewarding to see how much this has meant to you because I think this is the first piece of work where you guys have just like really appreciated me being there for every step of the way. And I think sometimes for journalists and especially aspiring ones or ones who are just entering the field, it's like you put in a lot of work for stuff. And of course, it means something to someone, but you guys have really shown your appreciation and it means a lot for sure. So yeah, that's the most rewarding
I
part.
always say on that day, like that line that Mom says always gets me. That and like I told you, you couldn't script it, you couldn't write it better than what Mom said, and and that's the thing about all of it. Nothing was scripted. Everything was just you would show up one day and multiple days. You would just show up because we're coming in and hang out with us for the weekend and video stuff, and you took all kinds of video and made all kinds of video and made it into this. And like, I mean, I'm sure you have enough for like, 2 hours, a 2-hour long movie, but like, you took all of that and put it all down into one. And that's the part that also I feel, is your work behind it is what people don't see. Yes, 9 minutes, but like, or,
over hours and hours and hours
of editing and making it all work and redoing small pieces and parts. And I think that I would be a perfectionist on some of it because even me doing the little videos of our intros and all that stuff, like I said, I'm like, I don't like how that comes in. I don't like how this fades out. I don't like how, and I'm just, anyway, but at some moments I have to be like, okay, just put it down because everyone likes it, but you're still editing it. Like,
Yeah.
and so do you have struggles with that? Like sometimes with like editing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so weird because it's interesting because the other day I like shadowed a shoot for that company I was talking to you about, and it was a real world situation, you know, like this is them going out and producing something for a client. And then for me, and they had like a whole production team, like 5 people and like a bunch of people at the office who were going to do color grading and editing and post production. And it's so interesting because I feel like in the program I'm in right now, it's like I'm just me. It's just me. So I'm going out, I'm shooting, I'm driving, and I'm coming back, I'm color correcting. I don't even know how to color correct, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how to do it. And I'm editing. And so it's and I'm also learning how to do all of these things as well, like through the whole process. So I think one of the biggest struggles I faced doing this project is because I wanted to produce something that was so good for you guys. Like I wanted it to be my best because of your all story and just everything. And I put a lot of extra time into it, and it was my top priority for several months, I will say.
I mean, I think
Because
like the
I
very
wanted
first
it
day
to
was
be. Yeah.
you missed homecoming or prom. I don't
Yeah.
remember what it was.
It was homecoming. Okay, it was football. I'm not a football girl anyway. It was
But
homecoming.
still, it's your homecoming.
Yeah.
Like the very first day we started shooting, it was homecoming, and she
Yeah,
was
the first interview.
at the house instead of being at homecoming.
Yeah.
So do you ever feel that? And because this has been in my head the whole time, but I didn't know how to ask it. But this is a good segue for it. Do you feel that while you were taking time and you were spending so much time with everybody and getting to know everything, do you feel that you have missed out on anything that was going on outside of us and or outside of the documentary during that time? Do you feel like was it worth your while, I guess you'd say?
No, I feel like it was completely worth my while. Like I'm in this program for a reason. I'm here to produce work that'll further propel me into my career field, but also I'm here to produce work that makes me who I am and stuff that I'm passionate about. And I'm the type of person where if I'm not passionate about something, it will not be represented in like what I'm doing at all. Like I stick with things that I'm passionate about, and sure, I might have missed like a few nights out with my friends, but like most of my friends are in the program anyway, so they all understand the struggles. Like there was like one night we were all in the lab until like 5 in the morning, and we were like, "You done yet?" And I'm like, "No, still working." And so it's like it's a whole community, and I've like kind of carved a little place for just like where my life is at right now and how my life is. And so I don't think I missed anything. I thought you were gonna ask me if I were to go back and edit something, like did I miss anything in the edit? I'm like, maybe, I don't know.
So
I
another
stared
thing,
at it for so long.
I know another thing that Bobby hasn't touched on yet, and I don't think we've really told very many people at all. Could you touch on how you actually came across our organization?
Yeah. So I was actually in one of my classes, and they mentioned WKU NPR had already done a story on, well, not just you specifically, but about the organization and some of the people within it. And I had read the story, and I was really intrigued. And at that point in time, I was searching for a final story for my final and advanced short form documentary. And the assignment was literally called hardship, which is crazy. That's how our assignments are. Like, you have to document someone who is experiencing some sort of hardship and how they get over it. And so I was the thing about like that assignment is you can't find someone experiencing hardship unless it's like super blatant and in your face almost. So I kind of was just looking for anything that I found interesting and passionate about. And I think I'm someone who I look for stuff that's interesting and something people wouldn't expect. So like the story about like an LGBTQ plus trucking network, I feel like anyone would would be interested in what that's about,
Right.
because it's a dichotomy between trucking and LGBTQ plus community.
It's one of those things you don't think about. So
Exactly. So I was definitely intrigued by that, and then I found your all's Facebook page, and then I reached out to Bobby, and then everything went from there. And that's honestly how I find most of the people I end up following around for a little bit. It's just through Facebook. So,
Yeah.
like I said before, I'm ultimate Facebook stalker.
Well, I mean, it kind of goes with journalism. I mean,
Yeah.
because when you get to a point where you have to like study things, see what you know, fact check and look at things like that and go back.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see where that would be. I mean, it's a job. You're
Mhm.
studying to get to a point where hopefully it's a job for you, where you actually are making money off of doing this professionally. So that's the long-term goal, or you wouldn't be spending all of your, money in college to do this and racking up debt. I mean, I get it. It's but I will say something else. Even through the journey, I had offered gas money. I had offered other things. Like, Ree would not take anything. Like, I mean, I don't even think she even let me ever buy her any food. Like, I think one night we had pizza or something, but like, she really was so independent and like just through the whole thing, she didn't want any help. Like, and that's okay. I mean, I understand it, but we're always here if you ever need anything. And
That's how us Kentucky people is raised.
we all appreciate you very, very much for everything.
Us Michigan people just tell you get your own crap and move on with another.
No.
So that means Ricky got to introduce her to Tudor's Biscuits as well.
You would? Did
No.
you go to? No, she didn't go to Tudor's.
What?
I didn't.
Or Gino's Pizza. Maybe she did have Gino's
She
Pizza.
did get to go to Billy Bob's or whatever that
I
was.
did, yes.
Yes, she did. That's right. She got to see that.
That's where the
It's
pizza
like the
came.
whole Five Nights at Freddy's thing. I swear that is what that is like.
It's so similar. It's insane.
The animatronics
Someone from West
there are
Virginia wrote
creepy.
that.
Probably.
Because they were a kid that grew up like me looking at those animatronics.
They're creepy.
But no, I mean, I wouldn't change anything in the world. All of us we have all cried together, we have laughed together, and I am so glad to have you, and that will never change. And no matter where you're at, when you get older, we're all going to be here. We'll be much older, but still, whenever as you get older, we will all still be here. That's the oldest one.
No.
See, like this is the youngest sister. That's the middle sister. That is the old sister.
I'm the young sister.
Whatever.
But you always have us, and we will always be here. But I will reach out to a couple people to see if we can get the story featured in a couple other areas. I know that Desiree would probably share it on Real Women in Trucking, and there's a couple other organizations. So we're going to try to. I was waiting for the page to be done, and you pretty much are at that point. So now we can pretty much share and cross post with other organizations through the nation to promote it more and get your name out there. And
For sure.
and who knows? So
And just think, if the photojournalism thing don't work out, now you've got enough experience. You can become a truck driver if you want.
I mean, it could happen.
And I will say this, at Mom's funeral, I don't know if you knew, but Bobby's actual blood family was on the side where you was sitting at.
Mm-hmm.
And Bobby's chosen family was sitting behind Bobby.
Yeah.
If you noticed when your video, The Road Home, played, Bobby's blood family did not shed one tear whatsoever, but Bobby's chosen family, we all had a box of Kleenexes just there ready.
Well, I feel that their estranged relationship with Mom, I won't say they didn't shed tears. I've seen some of them.
Yeah, they
but
did, but a lot of it was guilt.
They had an estranged relationship with Mom, and some of them hadn't seen her in 18 years. Some of them talked to her on the phone and thought that was enough. And I understand. And at the end of everything, I'm not mad at anyone. I know that what me and Ricky and everybody from the organization has done took care of mom, took care of dad when dad was alive, and we've had a really hard year. Even tonight, another one of our organization members, his aunt passed away, and last week we had another person pass away. It's been a series of events over the past. Tabitha's a whole nother story. Like, I mean, just within the organization, her son passed away on July 4th, and then her husband passed away a year later, and then she was left to be a truck driver by herself, taking care of her mother-in-law. So, like, there's so many things, and I just feel that we all have learned through everything, that back and forth. We have a family connection way stronger than a blood family connection. And we've all been there for each other for years, even if we get along or don't get along. That's the one thing I love about the organization. We always get along, but we also cuss each other out and don't talk for a few days, and then we're back to like, hey, how you doing? But it happens. But if you can't do that, then your friendship and everything wasn't real to begin with. If you can't be open, honest, and tell someone how it is, whether they want to hear it or not, then it's not real. And at the funeral, since the funeral is what I should say, a lot of family members have come to me and said that they felt guilty, that they couldn't have been there. They should have been there more. And I can't carry that burden.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way. And I'm not.
The sad part is that them watching this documentary was them seeing her more than they had ever seen her before.
I know. But the thing is, that's for them to live with.
It's their cross to bear.
Not me, and I hope that each and every one of them finds peace within themselves and their relationship with mom and dad and everybody. That's at the end of the day that, I can't carry that burden because I don't have that burden. I loved her and held her hand until she took her last breath. I was there holding her hand when she took her last breath, and we were all surrounded. We all surrounded her, and we were there with her. She didn't want to die alone, and she didn't.
No, the person that she was holding on for was the one that she talked to over the phone, and he is sitting right here beside Bobby. And
she passed away about 15, 20 minutes later.
Yep.
He said,
I heard both of you here in a second.
He said to her on the phone that, Mom, if you're waiting for me, I'm not going to be back in yet. And, and because we was trying to figure out who she was waiting on, and it was him. And, and then she passed about 15 minutes later. So everyone needs to find peace within it. She was mom for everybody, and she loved everybody. She didn't hate anyone, but she would tell you off if you were doing wrong. And my brothers and sisters and other family members, she told every one of them off individually. And they're the ones that has to live with what she said. I know what she said. I don't have to repeat what she said.
Right.
But she told them all before she passed.
And Bobby and Jess had done told her, like, Jasmine thinks of you as June Cleaver and Aunt Bee. And then she told me, one day I was over outside smoking. She said, honey, I am that person, but don't fuck with me.
She could change really fast.
You know how many times we would try to get Jasmine on the phone real quick so she could hear it. And then Mom would change instantly when she heard Jasmine's voice.
She was sitting there smoking, just acting
whatever.
But I mean, I thank you so much. And what we'll do is we're going to do a picture of you and a link and everything to your page, and we'll be promoting that. And then we're going to add it all to our web pages, and we will cross promote everything. So I thank you so much on your journey, and we will always be here to support you and continue on. I still would like for you to do a couple things within the organization, just as whenever you want to put stuff on there. So we're here always supporting you. Is there anything you want to say before you go?
I just want to say I'm just so happy I met you all. Truly, it's been a long ride. So I'm just so happy to have you guys in my life. And yeah, that's all. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
You can't get rid of us now.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
4 minutes from my house. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, not for long, but yes. All right. So thank you. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you were viewing from Facebook or YouTube or wherever you are viewing from. And we will all talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Hi, guys. That's for the blooper reel. Anyway. So basically, it was come back on a second just to let you guys know that we will be in Tampa Bay from March 20th to March 25th, and I'll be performing on the main stage on the 23rd, and then the truck and organization will be up there, and we will be on display and then in the parade, and it will all be televised live. So we are trying to raise money at this time. So as I say this, I'm going to pop this up. So this is up here in the top corner is the PayPal link. And we do appreciate any donations for us to be able to make this event happen. If not, there is a Cash App as well up there now. And I'll leave that up for a second. And then also the next one is our Venmo. So if there's any other way that you pay, we can accept it because I have so many other ways. But I appreciate all your support, all your help. And please remember that, we are going to be in Tampa and then New Braunfels, Texas, and a couple other things coming up. So we love to spread, inclusion, diversity, and education throughout, no matter where we go, educating others on the life of a truck driver and us being out here on the road and showing visibility to everybody. So with all that being said, I thank you all so much for all of the support that you continue to show all of us. And I hope to see you all in Tampa Pride. And please donate or go to our page and follow the links to donate. Without you, we can't get anything done. So thank you again, everybody. Bye.
Bye.